and another one bites the dust. How many times have we seen the crazy things happening in this market? And yet, there are still people getting burned because it happens again and again. Of course, a pump and dump is nothing new, but there is more. The armory collections that Valve dropped, the trading changes that seem to have a very dark intent behind them, the recent changes to how Valve run this market, and so much more. People and Valve somehow seem to be crazier than ever. So let me guide you through these turbulent times as we get back into things. Okay, a lot has happened lately. So let me make something terribly clear. If you know what you're doing, you can make a lot of money in this market. Even just playing the game is really quite profitable nowadays. Investments can do really well with so much demand and ongoing interest in the game. But don't allow yourself to get burned. Greed always wins. And with that said, the massive pump and dump! Yay! So, the evil geniuses holo. Since the Stockholm Major ended, the Stockholm stickers have always just kind of held their price or went up slowly. Apart from one hype spike, nothing much of interest happened. Sure, over a long time they got more expensive, but that's normal for almost any item if you wait long enough. So when I saw the stickers going up at insane rates out of seemingly nowhere around the end of July, I quickly drew a conclusion. This massive growth cannot occur organically. This is a pump. And what do you do in a pump? Well, you keep yourself out of it. Or at least I do. If you have the item that is getting pumped already, you sell it once it goes past any and all things that you saw possible previously. Don't try to time it perfectly, just get out. The price will eventually drop to below the normal price sooner or later. Almost always. Which is when you can always buy in again. All of this only goes for a pump, of course, not a realistic price increase due to other factors, but it's fairly obvious to see the difference between the two. In short, you should always be asking, why now? Why not last week? I actually had this sticker going into the dump, which put me in an interesting situation. Because back in the day I bought it for like €1, so when I logged on and saw it was at like €290, I didn't have to think for very long. Way past any and all hopes that I ever had for the sticker, because it wasn't even really an investment. I just collected all of them, don't tell anyone. So I decided to sell it. And the trap you can fall into with this is thinking, oh, but it did go higher than that. You should have waited. Well, entertain me for a second. Imagine if I had waited until now. That would have been a real shame, wouldn't it? That's the risk in waiting. So in short, when something goes up out of nowhere for seemingly no reason, don't go around selling your kidneys just to get into the craze. Because that's why these fools keep playing fetch with the price of random items in CS2, and that's also why they profit off of all of this. And the ones that they profit off of are the most gullible. And I guess that makes them evil geniuses. Woo! Woo! Very funny, yeah. Okay. For a long time now, it has been uncertain how Valve would handle the new armory and its skins. But just a couple of days ago, in a patch note that is barely worth 2 sentences, they finally dropped the bombshell. The items will be phased out, which means we now know that the items are actually worth looking into investing-wise. At last. It was uncertain for a long time, since the old quote-unquote shop that Valve has had items in it for years and years and years. Since those items will probably never get removed, their price is always virtually pinned in place. That means a lot less interest from people and also no investing potential. And with this armory, We had no idea how it would pan out, but it seems Valve have come up with a good system. Because it allows Valve to get rid of collections that sell the very least, which means they control their own profits, and it also allows the players to make money from this. By playing with the armory pass enabled, you can receive the items, and if you do it right, you can even profit doing so. Plus, keeping the items will eventually turn out profitable as the supply will be limited, and just like dropped cases, they will eventually go up in price because they will eventually be discontinued. There's even more good news. With the armory, Valve promised to always warn us ahead of time when something would get changed or removed, so since this system will stay, it also means a lot more predictability from now on. The only question is what this new system will do to the operations of the past, but in order to keep this video under 60 minutes, I will have to leave that to a future video. So, in the coming weeks, be sure to stock up on the leaving items and make a buck. That money will come in very handy over the next little while. Another thing happened lately. A little while ago, Valve changed the entire way trading works, and many people got quite scared by this, but here's my take. I assume you all know what changed about trading by now, but you probably will not see the full reasoning behind it and why it matters so much. Valve is trying to make their game and its market more safe. Scamming is a huge problem and it doesn't reflect well on the CS2 scene. If you want to invest some real money into this market, you have to be sure that it doesn't just disappear. This change, although slightly annoying and not yet perfect in its execution, does help with perception. It is a blessing to have the feeling that you could in theory get back your items if you were to ever get scammed. Especially for us investors who might have tens of thousands of dollars in this market, if not more. Plus, it makes items less liquid. That's just a simple economic equation. Less liquidity equals a higher price. But there is a flip side. Valve are not just doing this to make CS items more safe, even though that is good for their wallet long term. This change also makes most third-party markets more annoying to use. All of them, apart from one. The Steam community market. The market where Valve takes something like 15% of the trading price. So for a knife that is 800 euros, that is 100 euros that goes straight to Valve. And remember, prices on Steam are more expensive, so a knife that is 800 euros on Buff can be 1300, 1400 on Steam. So it seems very obvious why they would want more people to use Steam. It is a delicate balance that they need to keep. If they decided to shut down the open trading and selling of the items, they would retain zero actual real-life monetary value. That would mean most people care a lot less about CS2 items, which means hardly anyone will open cases. But the other side is not ideal too. If they let all the selling and buying happen somewhere else, they give away millions and millions of monthly profit. So it is in their best interest to make selling outside of Steam as difficult as possible, but also not impossible. Look, Valve isn't dumb. They know what they have, and they have to keep us satisfied to keep their cash cow. So overall, I believe that this upgrade is good. My opinion about this update is that it will probably be good for us long term, even if it's scary and slightly annoying short term. It's probably mostly an issue for big traders and streamers who will be more restricted in their trading. But for the average Joe, this is not much of a problem really. So, what now? What do you do in a market like this? Honestly, the best thing you can do is not follow the crowd. In almost any situation, you do the following. When everyone's panic buying, that's your signal to sell. When everyone is mass selling, that's when you buy the dip. And if you're a long-term holder, none of this matters anyway, because the golden rule always still applies. Just hold. The market always moves in cycles, and even with manipulation and hype, the long-term trend eventually always does go back up, especially with how Valve handles scarcity. Unless Valve decides to kill the game, but that's a risk that anyone is always taking with CSGO items anyway. So after all, it's just about having a stronger stomach than the average CS player. So yeah, that's where we're at. The CS2 market is a weird, exciting, slightly terrifying place. And this video barely scratches the surface. I've got a lot more stuff coming soon, because I need to go into detail on these things. My thoughts on Source 2, the possibility of a new operation in 2025, the cheating problem, what future major stickers might look like, the death of cheap cases, and how CS2 might behave in a real global recession. But I guess you're gonna have to wait for my opinion on those things. Look, this video wasn't sponsored. So instead, if I provided you with some value in this video, I kindly ask you to subscribe and join the journey. It's free, and I also have a lot else planned like you just saw, so if you want to stay in the loop and see those plans come to fruition, you know what to do. Let me know in the comments what you foresee as good opportunities in the future and what some of your biggest questions and concerns are. I'll be sure to check them out. For everyone who is wondering where I was, I guess life happened. I needed to focus on school, get some work done, and improve myself. I don't know about you, but staying determined on one game for so long is difficult sometimes. Counter-Strike is really in my blood and I would never be able to change that, but I guess I was just a tad burnt out from it. I'm back though, and I have new energy to charge forward. Let's call it Eukild Season 2, which is actually fitting because, well, it's about the game CS2. Hopefully you guys still want to hear what I have to say about this awesome market we are all a part of. And with that, I guess I'll see you guys later. If you're still watching, you are truly awesome. Thank you. Goodbye.